I received a comment the other day from a viewer, and shout out to them. They told me, Phil, you need to really say something about what's going on with the movement with Colin Kaepernick, because those folks are trying to hijack this movement and turn this into something else. And I agree with you, sir or ma'am, that sent that comment, because they're flipping this into, oh, it's a flag, oh, you disrespecting the country. That has nothing to do with Colin Kaepernick and why he took the knee. So I'm going to play a clip of Colin Kaepernick reminding every last one of you why he took the knee, and it had nothing to do with what these people and Donald Trump himself are trying to flip this into.
What are you trying to accomplish? What would you like this, to be the end game for you?
That's basically. Ultimately, it's to bring awareness and make people, realize what's really going on in this country. There are a lot of things that are going on that are unjust. People aren't being held accountable for, and that's something that needs to change. That's something that, this country stands for: freedom, liberty, justice for all, and it's not happening for all right now.
Is this something that's evolved as a philosophy in your mind, and how has this kind of progressed that you make a stand like this?
It's something that I've seen, I've felt, wasn't quite sure how to deal with originally, and it is something that's evolved. It's something, as I've gained more knowledge about, what's going on in this country in the past, what's going on currently. These aren't new situations. This isn't new ground. It's things that have gone on in this country for years and years and have never been addressed, and they need to be.
Will you continue, Colin, to sit? Will you continue to sit?
Yes, I'll continue to sit. I'm going to continue to stand with the people that are being oppressed. To me, this is something that has to change, and when there's significant change, and I feel like that flag represents what it's supposed to represent, and this country is representing people the way that it's supposed to, I'll stand.
Specifically, what would you like to see change in order for you to stand?
There's a lot of things that need to change. One specifically is police brutality. There's people being murdered unjustly and not being held accountable. Cops are getting paid leave for killing people. That's not right. That's not right by anyone's standards.
Colin, so many people see the flag as kind of a symbol of military. How do you view it, and what do you say to those people?
I have great respect for men and women that have fought for this country. I have family, I have friends that have gone and fought for this country. And they fight for freedom. They fight for the people. They fight for liberty and justice for everyone. And that's not happening. People are dying in vain because this country isn't holding their end of the bargain up as far as, giving freedom and justice and liberty to everybody. It's something that's not happening. And I've seen videos, I've seen circumstances where men and women that have been in the military have come back and been treated unjustly by the country they fought for, and have been murdered by the country they fought for on our land. That's not right.
Colin, do you personally feel oppressed? Personally?
There have been situations where I feel like I've been ill-treated, yes, but this stand wasn't for me. This stand wasn't because I feel like I'm being put down in any kind of way. This is because I'm seeing things happen to people that don't have a voice, people that don't have a platform to talk and have their voices heard and affect change. So I'm in a position where I can do that, and I'm going to do that for people that can't.
Before we get started with the commentary, I want to reach out to our viewers to help us reach our goal on Patreon of 3,000 members at a minimum of $2 or $5 per month. And every person that has joined us there, we definitely want to thank you for helping us to keep the show going, definitely in these trying times. And also, we post exclusive content there, speaking to the supporters on Patreon about behind the scenes things that I deal with, also things in my personal life as well. Now, as you heard what Colin Kaepernick had to say, he said it's about police brutality. It's about police killing unarmed people and going home and eating a sandwich, killing unarmed people and just saying, I was afraid of my life, and that's good enough. And yet they see no jail time. But anyone else that would kill a person like them, they would go to jail. That is not right, like Colin Kaepernick stated. So Colin Kaepernick, under the guise of extrajudicial killings, under the guise of people are not getting their due process under the law, under the guise of they did not get a trial to defend themselves. That's why Colin Kaepernick took a knee. He also talked about racism in this country and how that's why he was taking a stand as well. It had nothing to do with no flag. It had nothing to do with no national anthem. That wasn't a problem. What is a national anthem? That's not doing nothing to nobody. What's a flag that's made in China, by the way? Because you don't even make your own flags in America. If you're so patriotic, why are you making American flags in China? Why don't you answer that question if you're so patriotic? But rest assured, that flag isn't doing nothing to nobody. That song isn't doing nothing to nobody. It's these police that's out there killing people unjustly. And because the majority of people in this society, and you know who you are, support them as long as they're doing it to black people or the group of people. But it was kind of funny when it happened to Justine Damon. Yeah, you had a little bit more to say about that all of a sudden. Now the police is getting out of hand. All in all, we are tired of watching our brothers and sisters being killed at the hands of police. And a lot of them are race soldiers, which mean they are white supremacists masquerading as police and carrying out a race war. You talk about veterans. There are veterans like Walter Scott that was gunned down by the police. I didn't hear any of you screaming and yelling about a veteran being gunned down. You didn't say a word. But when it comes to this protest, you talking about veterans and how it's disrespectful to veterans, but yet there has a hashtag called Vets for Kaepernick, and they're supporting what he has done. And that argument about veterans is the weakest thing ever, because so many veterans are coming out speaking against the people that's saying all of a sudden that's being disrespectful to them. If you want to be so patriotic toward veterans, why don't you go at your government and say that how the VA system is a piece of crap, how the veterans aren't treated right in this country. You have veterans that living underneath the bridge, but you're not going to scream and yell about that. You're going to scream and yell about NFL players taking a knee, which is their choice, which is their freedom of speech. Oh, but I forgot. Freedom of speech is only for one group of people. Black people shouldn't have freedom of speech because remember, we don't do it the right way. So in the street, Black Lives Matter or any group that protests, that's wrong. We're doing it the right way. Okay, fine. You take a knee silently. That's wrong. You shouldn't do that either. You shouldn't do it where the location. People want to see football, XYZ. Do you realize protesting is meant to make you uncomfortable? Do you realize protesting is meant to disrupt your life? Why? To bring awareness and attention to the issue. There's a veteran by the name of John Middlemas. Now, he's 97 years old. He fought in World War II, and he took a knee. So you have a World War II veteran that took a knee, and you know what he said about the NFL players? Let those kids protest. He fought for this country. He actually went to war and fought against the Nazis. Yet our president, sympathetic toward Nazis and white supremacists. Isn't that something? That you have a veteran that's supporting the protests. Because remember, you say that the veterans fight for our freedoms and rights. Well, this is one veteran out of many who support what's going on. Understand something. This will continue to go on. You either have a choice. Stand on the side of freedom, justice, and equality for all people, or stand on the side of racism, stand on the side of oppression, stand on the side of systematic white supremacy, stand on that side. So it's a good and evil. That's the only choice you have. No more straddling the fence. Between Colin Kaepernick and Donald Trump, between both of them, they have forced every last one of you to take a side. And that's good. I like that. Because it's time for people in this country to let everyone know where you stand. You try to flip it into a flag, ain't about a flag, you know it. Because you're not saying that Colin Kaepernick is wrong about the killings. You're not saying that he's wrong about racism. And this is what you do. This is your classic deflection. Well, what about black on black crime? That's the only thing you have to say about it. What about black on black crime? The first thing I say, and I tell everybody, what about white on white crime? What about it? What that has to do with a state sanctioned killing? What does that have to do with a state sanctioned killing with the majority of the support from the people in the society? It's two different things. You can't compare the two. And people that bring up black on black crime, tell them about white on white crime and challenge them on what is the difference between the two. One of the things going to happen, they're going to have to agree that it's not the same, or they're going to lessen that police officer to a common criminal in their conversation. And usually them kind of people are high IQ people. And usually when I'm saying high IQ, I'm being extremely sarcastic. Don't think I'm actually equating anything to them. And I always say, if you have to measure your intelligence based off a man-made test with a number, it says a lot about you. But understand something. Colin Kaepernick has started the movement. Many people are now doing it, whether they get involved with it because of Trump, don't care. You have to look at the bigger picture. Now the conversation's out there. It's out there. I said this in previous videos, and I'll say it again. Donald Trump has been so far the best president for the black community because he is making us unify in a way that I have not seen. Months ago, you couldn't get that many black players to stand up for something. They were, man, I don't know about that. Man, I ain't involved with all that. Now they all involved now because of Donald Trump. Our unification is the only thing that would save us. Now, this is another tactic they like to do. And we want to educate you on the tactics. They'll try to isolate you because once you isolate it from your community, then you don't have no strength at all. And then you are at their mercy. They say, Colin, well, how are you oppressed? You know, Colin, you're worth about $22 million. How are you really oppressed? And what did Colin say? I had some incidents in my life, but it's not about me. It's about the people. And that's the way we have to be. Selfless, not individualistic, selfless. If our people in our community and those who are suffering aren't free, then we all aren't free. What's good are you to be free of oppression, but the rest of your community is being oppressed? How can you even go around your community? Because when you free, so-called free like that, and you go around people that are oppressed, you become a target because people going to try to get at you because they hungry, they starving. So if everybody was free of oppression, if everybody was doing well in our community, then we wouldn't have those kind of problems. They have said the same thing to me. Well, Phil, you don't look like you out there in the streets committing crimes and you look like you doing okay for yourself. Why do you care about that? It's not about any of that. At the end of the day, it's about the community, and I'm part of it. I'm not free if they're not free. If they're oppressed, I'm oppressed. If they downtrodden, I'm downtrodden. Because it don't matter your position in this country as a black man or even a black woman. At any given moment, they can come at you. Don't matter how much money you have. Look at Bill Cosby. Don't matter how your status is. You could be a president. They'll come after you. Don't matter. Because in this country, they look at you as nothing but an N-word. And if you get a little change behind you, they'll say you're ungrateful. Ungrateful to who? That's what I keep asking. But they never can answer that question, ungrateful to who. But really what they're saying to you is you're just an uppity Negro. And they can't stand that. Oh, they can't stand that. So Colin Kaepernick set the record straight. Let's continue to bring the conversation to what Colin Kaepernick said it's about. Forget Donald Trump. Forget his mindless supporters that can't think past their nose. Let's focus on what the real fight is. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about this. Share the video, like the commentary, and subscribe for my news stories.